Your ability to articulate value is the number one reason you will or won't hit quota this year. Forget product knowledge, forget fancy demos. If you can't connect your solution to what actually matters to your buyer, you're dead in the water. And with Q4 tickling down, mastering this conversation is not optional, it's survival. Today, I'll show you the 3 value conversations every rep must master before year end. Stick around. The first conversation is why change. This is where most reps fail. They show up talking about their product, features, functions, roadmap. But here's the truth. Buyers don't wake up thinking about your product. They wake up thinking about their problems. If you don't disrupt the status quo, you will lose the deal to the status quo. Research shows that over 50% of B2B deals end in no decision. It's not because competitors beat you, but because the buyer decided to do nothing. And to break that, you need to show them the cost of inaction. And that's where unconsidered needs come in. These are risks, cost, or blind spots they haven't thought about. If you only echo back what they already know, you sound like every competitor. But when you introduce something new, something that makes their current approach look unsafe, you create urgency. One of my friends told me how he was selling supply chain software. Instead of talking about delays, he showed the buyer the regulatory fine the company would face for failing to comply with new cross-border trade laws. It was not on their radar. And that's one insight that flipped the deal. Your job is to create a why change conversation. So you need to remember this. Your job in the why change conversation is not to sell your product. It's to make the status quo feel more dangerous than change. And until you do that, they don't care who you are. So once you've created the urgency, the next conversation is why you. And here's the danger. If you stop at why change, the buyer agrees they need to do something, but now they shop around. You've just created demand for your competitors. So the why you is about differentiation. It's not just about dumping a feature list. Buyers don't want 27 things your product does and this blue button somewhere. They want to know the 1 or 2 things you do better than anyone else that are directly tied to their business priorities. And this is where the value wedge comes in. The value wedge is the overlap between what's unique to you, what's important to them, and what you can defend with proof. And that's your sweet spot. So if you go and say, we have the most flexible platform on the market, that sounds good, but everyone is saying the same thing. But if you can reframe the differentiator around faster time to value with a proven ROI within 90 days, something you could prove and competitors can't, this is where you will go from winning to winning at a premium. And then the third one is why pay. And that's a pretty important conversation. And that's where procurement sharpen the knives. If you haven't established value, you'll be forced to discount. Why pay is about quantification. You must tie your solution to hard numbers, revenue growth, cost savings, risk reduction, productivity gains. Buyers are under pressure. CFOs especially are in the prove it or lose it mode. If you can show ROI, you are toast. So here's the truth. Every dollar in your deal will be scrutinized. And you can't win that argument with adjectives. You win it with math. So in my experience, I often face situations where the customer says, we love what you do, but it's expensive. And so instead of discounting, I think it's important to have a conversation around what is at stake. So let me share with you an example on how it would look like. So let's take the example of a rep selling marketing automation. The buyer says, we love it, but it's expensive. So instead of discounting, what that rep should do is say, every month you wait, you're losing 300 leads that convert at 10%. That's 30 deals. And if your average deal is 50K, that's 1.5 million a year. So are you discussing now a 200K deal while there is 18 million at stake? So here's a summary. First of all, you need to talk about why change. Make the status quo unsafe. Why you? By showing your unique defensible edge, and why pay to quantify the business impact in their terms. If you get this right, you won't just survive Q4, you'll crush it. If you fail, you'll be updating your LinkedIn in January. So drop value in the comments if you're ready to master this conversation and finish the year strong. Please subscribe and like for more no-nonsense advice, and check out the video here where I share how to build compelling value proposition using the vision framework. See you around.